Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord server where we post multiple updates a day. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this Cardano update. Cardano is currently, it's still doing absolutely nothing. It's Christmas after all. You cannot expect it to do anything too crazy, but I'm still expecting Bitcoin to get a pump for the end of the year. And yeah, I'm still expecting Bitcoin to hit 120k by the end of the year. Even though that might seem crazy right now, since there are like 6 days left of the year, but I think it's possible. Now, before I talk about that, let me talk about the short-term potential. So as you can see, Cardano is still in the support zone, which means that the low could be in, but I cannot confirm that until we get above this high right here, which is at about 99.7 cents. And then after we get above that high, the next target would be $1.30 to complete the third wave of this 1-2 setup right here. And we'll see if we get there or not. It's really hard to say because we are still in a downtrend right now and we are still going sideways, but this is looking quite well in my opinion. It's actually looking pretty good because, as you know, Cardano usually goes sideways or down in December, so this is normal, and I'm still expecting it to pump in January, so whatever happens right now, it doesn't really matter. Now keep in mind, if we break below the 0.618 support level right here, and if we get to, let's say, the 0.786 support level, the chances of us getting another low in the C wave and in the second wave right here are going to become much bigger because, we cannot afford to go below the support zone. But, even if we get another low in the C wave and the second wave right here, it would not be the end of the world. We are close to the bull market support band. Maybe the market wants to test that. The bull market support band is currently at about 66 cents. So we could get there. I don't think we will get to the 50% extension anymore, but who knows? We'll see what happens by the end of the year. And yeah, we're still in a 1-2 setup right now, which means that the third wave should start very, very soon. And by very, very soon, I mean the next couple of months, maybe 1 to 2 months. And these 5 waves right here will complete a first wave of that third wave right here. And once we get these 5 waves, I will be able to confirm that the second wave move down is in and that we are actually heading in the main third wave of the third wave. And yeah, this is looking quite well. Like I said, if you look at the daily chart, Cardano is still in a 1-2 setup right here. Well, it was in a 1-2 setup. Right now we are working on the third wave. And like I said, we have a 1-2 setup for the third wave, which means that we will need a third wave of a third wave really, really soon. And as you know, the third wave of the third wave is usually the most impulsive wave of the cycle. So it's gonna get crazy. Now, if you look at the daily RSI, as you can see, even though the price went down like 60 cents or so, maybe 50 cents, the RSI during that time actually cooled off quite a lot. We were extremely overbought up here at like $1, and now we're at like, let's say 91 cents, and we are no longer overbought. We are actually almost oversold. So this is why I think getting another low is possible, but not likely to happen because, as you know, or maybe you don't know, we don't always have to go to the oversold territory to get a pump. Here, when we went from 33 cents to like $1.30 in a matter of 4 weeks or so, we did not get to the oversold territory on the daily chart. The last time we got to the oversold territory on the daily chart was down here when Cardano was at about 27 cents. And what do you know, this was actually the low for the second wave move right here. So yeah, we could get to the oversold territory on the daily, but we don't have to do that. Now, like I said, the minimum target for the main third wave right here is the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup, but you have to keep in mind that this could overextend a lot more, maybe to the 2.272 extension, maybe the 2618 extension. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Keep in mind, in the previous cycle, the third wave of the 1-2 setup right here got to the 1.618 extension of the previous all-time high, so there is a chance that we do the exact same thing again, and if we do that again, that should put the third wave right here above $5.30, which is the 1.618 extension of the previous all-time high of 2021. Now, like I said, it's not guaranteed that we will do that, but it is possible, and if Bitcoin gets to about $255,000 by the end of the year, it is very possible for Cardano to hit about $7 to $8 in this cycle, maybe even more in a more bullish scenario. But like I said, don't get too greedy. If you bought down here at like 30 cents, maybe if you bought down here as well at like 20 cents or so, you should take profits when you're up like 10x. So if we get to like $2, you should most likely start taking profits. Now, I'm not saying sell everything you have. I'm just saying that maybe you need to take out the money that you invested down here. So if something happens to the market and if we get new bear market lows for some reason, you at least made your money back that you invested back here. So, now I'm not expecting anything to happen, to be honest. I'm expecting the prices to start going higher, but you never know. Now keep in mind, in the previous cycle we did the exact same thing as we are doing right now. We went up in November, here we went up like 100%, in this cycle we went up like 300%, and after we do that we went sideways for a month, and what do you know, we went sideways in December, and look at what happened after that. When January started, that's when we started going up again, and Cardano went up another 126% during that time, and that was not even it. After January was done, we still continued going up in February, and as you can see, the third wave of the main third wave actually topped on the 27th of February of the post-halving year. So if we want to do the exact same thing again, the price of Cardano should be above the 100% extension of the previous all-time high by February 27th of 2025. Now, like I said, I don't know if we will do the exact same thing. Maybe this move is gonna happen 1 month later or so. But keep in mind, if we want to get to like $5 to $8, Cardano should be at all-time highs in the next 2 months, in my opinion. Maybe 3 months, in a more bearish scenario. I'm still expecting the third wave up here to top by May of 2025, because I think the fourth wave move down will be during the summer, because crypto summers are usually very boring, so this would be the perfect time to get a fourth wave move down. I mean, we did the exact same thing in the previous cycle. The third wave right here topped in May, and then we went down for about 2 months, and then the pump continued for the end of the year, and that was the end of the cycle. Then we went into the bear market. Now, if you look at the weekly RSI, Cardano is still looking quite well. I mean, we are no longer overbought, which is very good, and as you can see, we are actually seeing a bounce off the moving average of the weekly RSI, which is very good because we did not get below it, and we actually did the exact same thing in the previous cycle as well. After we got above the moving average on the weekly RSI, we never really got below it until we actually got this high right here, which was the high of the third wave of the third wave. And as you can see, during the third wave of the third wave, that's when the RSI went really crazy on the weekly chart. So this should happen again very soon, in my opinion. The move that we got right here, right now, in my opinion, is the move that we had right here. It's not this right here, which means that what's about to happen on the RSI might break the RSI levels right here if we get a third wave of a third wave. Now, if you look at the monthly chart, things are actually looking a lot better than what they were looking like in the previous cycle, because we are not even overbought here. The RSI is at like 60 and Cardano is at like $1, which means that if we want to get to these levels right here, these RSI levels of about 88 or so, Cardano has to continue going up, maybe to like $5 to $8. And that would work perfectly well with the fact that, that's my prediction. Now, I also want to take a look at how much return on investment you get if you buy the all-time highs. So, of course, you should not buy the all-time highs, but, I just want to take a look at this. So if you somehow bought the all-time high right here and you sold at the all-time high right here, you would be up about 126%. Now, what happens if you bought this all-time high right here and you want to sell the next all-time high? Well, if you go up 126%, that puts us at about $7. So maybe that's where Cardano will top. I don't know. But, everything is pointing to the fact that Cardano will get in this region right here between $5 to $8. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin dominance in this video. If you want to know more about Bitcoin dominance, you should check out my previous videos. But just to keep it short, I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to start dropping a lot in January and to continue dropping for the rest of next year. And yeah, Bitcoin will most likely get to about $255,000 by the end of the cycle, which I'm expecting to be somewhere between September and November of 2025, because we are still following a 4-year cycle right now, and I'm not expecting that to change anytime soon. If you look at the monthly RSI on the Bitcoin chart, we are barely overbought, and I don't know why people are saying that we will only get to $150,000. if we get to like $150,000, that would put the RSI at like 80 or so, which would not even be close to what it was up here or up here or up here when we hit the previous all-time highs. So in my opinion, Bitcoin has to get to at least $255,000 by the end of this cycle. But it could easily get to $300,000 in my opinion. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that as well. I also want to look at ADA Bitcoin because people keep asking me to do that. Now let's change this to the weekly chart. So ADA Bitcoin is just following what it did in the previous cycle. It's the exact same pattern again, except in this cycle we are not doing as good as we did in the previous cycle. But that's not bearish because, you know, Bitcoin is outperforming Cardano, so you cannot expect to get all-time highs by the end of this cycle on the ADA Bitcoin chart. Now, maybe I'm wrong, maybe we will break all-time highs, but as you can see in the 2021 cycle, we did not break the 2017 cycle highs, so maybe this will keep going on, which means that there is a chance that in this cycle we top in this region right here between the 1.618 extension and the 200% extension, like we did in the previous cycle. In the previous cycle, we actually topped at the 200% extension of the 1-2 setup right here. And right now, the 200% extension of the 1-2 setup that we have on the chart right now is at about 4,000 Satoshis. So we'll see if we get there. Now, of course, we could break above that and maybe Cardano will outperform Bitcoin in this cycle, I don't know. And keep in mind, the ADA Bitcoin chart looks very similar to the Bitcoin dominance chart, except this chart is just Bitcoin dominance but upside down. So if you look at this chart, it only went down during the altcoin bear market, and if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, it only went up. So the ADA Bitcoin chart is just the Bitcoin dominance chart but upside down. And if Bitcoin dominance gets to like 40% in this cycle and does not break below these lows right here, then ADA BTC will most likely not break above the all-time highs right here as well, which would not be bearish. It would still be good in my opinion, especially if Cardano manages to get on this region right here. If Cardano gets in this region right here and Bitcoin gets to like $255,000, that would still be extremely good. So yeah. That's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our Discord server where we post multiple updates a day. And Merry Christmas. I will see you in the next one.